Welcome back to the Dallas Prospect, where we're talking Dallas's 125-110 victory on the road last night in Memphis. These are my 5 takeaways from the game. Maybe they're about the game specifically, maybe they're a little bit more broad, but even still, they're my takeaways, so make of that what you will. First and foremost, the Mavericks, despite playing without Kyrie Irving, go out and get themselves their 3rd win of the season in as many tries, and that is the first time since the 2004-2005 season that the Mavericks have started 3-0. What's more, even just improving to 2-0 the previous game was only the 2nd time they've accomplished that feat in 9 years. So we're not exactly strangers to slow starts in Dallas. This is a really good thing, and the fact that they're 3-0 with 2 of those wins being on the road, I think is even better. While they haven't placed against heavy competition yet, the Grizzlies, despite the fact that they've got some injuries, are still a pretty decent team. I understand what their record is. I think from a talent perspective, they're a decent team. Even if they're without Steven Adams for the year, even if they've got other injuries as well, this is at least a team that can catch you off guard if you're not careful. So I like this start for Dallas. Specifically, Luka Doncic was insane last night. No, it wasn't 49 points like he had in the home opener, but even still, he drops a casual triple-double, 33 points, 13 rebounds, and 10 assists. This allows him to record his 58th career triple-double, which now leaves him just one shy of Larry Bird, of Larry Legend, for whom I attributed the nickname to Luka, of Luka Legend. But one shy of Larry Legend for 9th all-time in triple-doubles. Yeah, I just did the math. He's still just 24 years old. That boy's good. But let's talk about Luka's start a little bit in general to the season. He opened up with 26-12-12, followed that up with 49-10-7, and then last night, again, 33-13-10. Yeah, that is an average of 39 points per game, shooting 55.6% from the field, 48.6% from 3, 11.7 boards, and 9.7 assists. Oh, right. And 1 steal per game via Landon Thomas. Yeah, Luka is really trashing that narrative right now that he is not a guy that comes into the season ready to play. Yes, I know he earned that narrative, to be fair, but even still, Luka is coming out and he is changing that narrative, at least as this season starts. He looks better. His physical body type doesn't look visibly different, but his conditioning seems better. And the fact that Dallas is able to use him just a little bit less, his overall usage a little bit less, I think is paying dividends as well. It seems like they're pushing the pace a little bit more, and he's not settling for just a ton of step-back threes that are falling short, and you're just seeing him going 2 of 7, 2 of 9, 2 of 10 from 3. The dude is knocking down basically anything he wants right now, and it's having a big impact on powering this start for the Mavericks. Now let's talk about the team a little bit more broadly here. While the offense in rating is 3rd, the defense is 23rd. They were 29th last year, so subpar. Better, but subpar. The difference is that the net rating for the Mavericks is 9th. So their offense is so good that it's making up for it, where in net rating, they're still a top 10 team right now. Again, small sample size, 3 games. But I think this is something that'll straighten out with time. It's early. You got some young guys coming in, and Kidd is tinkering with the lineup, trying to find things that work. Lively in the second half didn't play against the Nets hardly at all. I don't think he even saw the floor in the second half. That was a little bit for me. Last night, at least, he had foul trouble in 14 minutes. He had 5 fouls, so I understand it a little bit better. That's on Lively. He's just got to get a little bit more disciplined on that front. But even still, I like the direction that this team is headed in terms of its defense. I think the defense is better than 23rd. It's just going to take a little bit of time. They have the tools, they have the discipline and the will, and I do think Kidd is a good defensive coach. So I'm willing to bank on this team making that leap to at least middle of the pack, at least in that 15 range, if not pushing toward the top 10. We'll see. But I don't put too much stock in that. Number 3, the Mavericks had 3 scores in the 20 figures last night. Well, Luka went beyond 20, but at least 20 points for the game. Hardaway racked up 21 points, and hey, shout out to Derrick Jones Jr. racking up a career-high 22 points, 7 of 10 from the field, 4 of 6 from 3. Good God, that man was on fire. He was a major, major weapon for the Mavericks last night. And he did most of his damage, didn't even really need much of the fourth quarter. I think he had 20 points by the time the end of the third quarter rolled around. After the game, when asked about his breakout performance with the Mavericks, all he really said was that Luka magic is real. That's weird. I thought the narrative was that Luka didn't make his teammates better. If anything, it was harder to play with Luka because he just holds the ball and dribbles the air out of it until there's like 5 seconds on the shot clock or less. It's as if someone wasn't genuine or honest in their assessment and they were instead pushing a narrative. Ah well. Overall, the Mavericks shot 49% from beyond the arc, including 23 makes. They were 23 of 47. Yeah, if you have 20 plus threes made in a game and you're shooting 50% or better, you're going to be in great position to win a lot of games. Now, to be fair, the Mavericks did play around with their food a little bit late. About midway through the fourth quarter, the Grizzlies did claw back to within a few points. I didn't love seeing that, but Dallas does at least stretch it out, extend back to double figures by the end of the game. So you still feel generally better. They built it up, and then they pushed it and extended it again to close it out. So, you take what you can. You win some, you lose some. Now, this is, again, a little bit more of a broad term. Despite making his season debut, Jaden Hardy generally appears to be out of the rotation right now, which is a very strange duality to me, considering on one hand he's considered untradeable, not in the sense that no one wants him, but in the sense that Dallas will not touch him. I guess untouchable is a better term there. He's untouchable in terms of trade talks, yet he's also not a consistent member of your rotation. That's very strange. And Jason Kidd initially had just said, well, there's only so many minutes we can hand out to guys. But it's like, you can't scale back Hardaway just a little bit. I know Hardaway's generally been good this season. Again, 3 games in. Even the Brooklyn game where he started out a house of fire and then went ice cold, that was after he got clocked in the back of the head. So, make of that what you will. But even still, I can't help but think that, or was that the Spurs game? I digress. I feel like you can take some of those minutes. I am a big fan of Seth Curry overall. There's no way Seth Curry should be getting more minutes than Jaden Hardy at this point. So that's my general feeling there, is you can find some of those minutes. You can't just hold on to Jaden and say, hey, if Luka and or Kyrie is out, here's your opportunity. Yes, here's your opportunity, but you got to get him reps before then. You got to get him up to speed. So the fact that it's not until Kyrie misses a game that Hardy finally gets his chance to do something, and even then he only gets 10 minutes, I got mixed feelings about that. I don't like that. I understand he's instant offense. He's going to look to score and be incredibly aggressive. 10 minutes, he got 6 shots immediately. 2 of 6 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3. I get it. And he had an assist. But you got to get him some more minutes. Doesn't have to be 20, but I feel like he needs some more minutes, and you need to get him reps with Luka and eventually Kyrie. It's not enough just to say, hey, he'll have his opportunity when they're out. You got to build him up and develop him along the way, build that chemistry, build that trust so that it's there. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see him sitting there as just like break glass in case of emergency and then maybe we'll play him. That's not good enough at this juncture. So yeah, mixed feelings on that. Finally, closing this out, Kyrie Irving, we mentioned earlier, missed last night's action. I wasn't so much worried about his preseason, barely playing, or his rusty start to the year where the offense, particularly the jump shot, wasn't falling with much consistency. It's just rust. But this I'm a little bit more concerned about. We know Kai is going to miss some time on you. We know Luka is going to miss some time on you. The key, as much as you can help it, is to try not to stack those up on top of each other. You want to stagger them at the very least if you have to. Obviously, you can't really plan for that, so it is what it is. But a sprained foot in the first week of the season is potentially concerning. If it leads to more minutes and opportunities for Hardy, great. That can help offset it because Luka, with these weapons, can be a threat on any given night and can be competitive with most any opponent. Same is true of Kyrie and these weapons. The idea is that when you have Luka and Kyrie and these weapons, then you can presumably go toe-to-toe, certainly at least offensively, but toe-to-toe with just about anybody. Again, there's going to be some teams that I think you're just going to be hard-pressed to beat in general, the champion Nuggets, chief among them. But still, that's the idea of what you want to build towards. So I'm concerned with if this is going to be something that lingers, if this is going to be a meddlesome injury. Luka coming into the season wasn't supposedly 100%, although he has looked 100% in the first 3 games for the most part. So, but I want to see these reps for these young guys, because if we're going to have these kind of injuries for Luka or Kyrie, we're going to need to get these guys up to speed quick. And I think Hardy has that potential to be a 6-man caliber player if you utilize him to do so. So far they're not, and I think that's a mistake. I can understand the Lively thing, being tied to foul trouble more so, especially when your biggest role is a defensive anchor. But even still, you've got to find a way to get these young guys up to speed. We still haven't seen Omax yet, and I'm more understanding of that one, truthfully. But I think Lively and Hardy, their development needs to be like chief among your focus. So if you got these opportunities early on, I think you should settle into more of a rotation that gives opportunity to Lively. And then for Hardy, you just got to find a way to get him on the floor. Even if you're getting him on the floor 8 to 12 minutes a game, that's better than nothing. 10 minutes last night was whatever. I'd like to see that be a little bit more considering Kyrie was out, but I'm talking about even if Luka and Kyrie are there, I want to see him on the floor 8 to 10 minutes, 8 to 12 minutes, and go from there. So in general, I guess my final takeaways from this: good win. Love seeing them 2-0 on the road. Love seeing them 3-0 for the first time in over a decade and a half. That's awesome. That said, this team still has a lot of room for growth, which is a good thing. If you felt like they were playing at their best right now, then good God, that's a bad sign. But a lot of room for growth, a lot of reason for excitement. And part of that's just kind of a growing and feeling out process. You have to figure out your rotation. You have to build up that comfort and that trust. And then you just have to let your guys go. And I feel like at this point, the main thing is Jason Kidd just has to not necessarily overthink it and just let these guys go. Let these kids run a little bit. Guys like Jaden, I think, do better when they don't have as tight of a leash, when they're able to, let their creative ingenuity and instincts guide them. And guys like Lively, for him, I think it's just keeping him involved in the game, keeping him on the floor as you're able to. Foul trouble is going to be a thing. I get that. But you got to find a way to keep him more involved. And I like that he started the last 2 games, but I want to see a little bit more opportunity there for him with some of these rotations. When he's coming out of the game, don't wait as long to put him back in. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Are you excited about the Mavericks? Hot start to the season. Are you still skeptical about the coaching staff? It's fair if you are. Let me know in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the Dallas Prospect. And until next time, guys, remember, every legend was once a prospect. Peace.